Why, hello everyone! It's your Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Voidus here. And here I am to bring another failure of the Irish government that has failed our nation to make it more dangerous to live, to even be on the streets. Because yesterday, three men and two women were stabbed in a mass stabbing there in Dublin. The police have trailed it off. That's of the actual stabbing victims. I will put one up in the. I will put the picture of your man there on the screen. He has showed the actual stab wound on his neck. It literally is the case that if he was stabbed even an inch in any other direction or deeper, kick the bucket. It's actually amazing he's still alive. But this, and they are saying the police have dismissed the idea that it could possibly be a refugee, despite the vast majority of people saying otherwise. As recently, there was also, I believe it was last year or the year even before, it was the case where foreigners had actually come into, where foreigners were ambushing American immigrants that were coming into the country and robbing them and beating the absolute shit out of them there in Dublin. And even then before that, there was the mass stabbing of that foreigner who had stabbed three young girls and that one woman. That story was also hushed up, where they removed the Irishman out of the story entirely, where he was the one that had actually pulled off the foreigner from them first, before the Portuguese man had come over and clonked him in the head with the helmet. The stabber, I mean. Before the Portuguese clonked him over the head. So they could get rid of some of the anti-foreigner sentiment that has been rising in this country for the better part of a decade, due to the mass immigration policies of Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, which Storm Éowyn showed that they are not prepared in any sort of way, and they are pretty much just happy to take all the money they can and all from Brussels and the EU. They are as anti-Irish as they can get, as it shows even in the last election, where only half the country had actually voted, and somehow the votes nearly ended up the exact same as the previous election, which is horrifying to see. That somehow people still vote for these absolute idiots that have ruined this country for the past 14 years by creating and that's the thing. People say the housing crisis, that's not fabricated. No, that's just the houses. No. Australia faces the same problem. They have workers immigrate in to build the houses. But here's the thing. Then they use those houses to house said workers. And then they need to build more houses for the people. It's a never-ending cycle. And it just keeps the market up high, where they can make money. However, they say we're not trying to replace you. No, we're not trying to replace. However, if you were to look at I think it was the 2050 plan, they are looking to get the Irish workforce up to 5 million. Currently, it is over 4.8 million. It is nearly, I think the population of Ireland is about 4.3. Don't quote me on that. Feel free to comment down below if you need to correct me. If I am wrong, please correct me. However, according to the census, is that the amount of people that actually are Irish has gone down dramatically over the years. Where in 2022, the Irish were considered to be, I believe it was in 2022, it was 12% of the population was foreign nationals. Now, in just last year, that has risen to 23%. I don't know what it's at this year, but that is a stark difference, because this census was registered in October of 2023, and this was by CSO.ie. So, you want to see that? That's it. It's called this is under the Census of Population 2022 Profile 5, Diversity, Migration, etc., etc. That is what I am quoting. Now, it is due to these policies that they're allowing in unvetted unvetted immigrants into the country, as well as immigrants and refugees from other countries, just without vetting, just accepting them in without... Okay, that was the Star Wars download community. But there is a problem with this, not an inherent problem. However, they're letting too many violent criminals in, which when they commit the crimes, they are not getting deported, and they're not getting sent back. And the way they're doing this is that they are destroying any type of legal documentation they have, so that basically their passports, anything, etc., that can be used to identify them and send them back. And with that, then they're allowed to stay in this country, that they don't want to work, they want to live off the dole, and they can consistently cause more and more crime. Now, I won't say anything about our own town. However, we have several of our own problems. Now, I know this is going to come off me as racist or that, but I don't care, because that's saying I have family who are... No, I'm going to cut that out. I'm cutting that out. And you can say that whatever you want, but that won't change the fact that these are the facts. This is what's happening. And Irish sentiment, the Irish people do not want it, because we had the Coolock incident not so long ago, where they were told that refugees were going to be housed there, and the community told them no. But the government said they are going to be housed there, and guess what? The people said no, and they burnt it down. And then the government sent in the police as their personal attack dogs, pepper spraying everyone, even the press. They were pepper spraying journalists that were reporting on the situation. So, I guess the end of state is that Ireland, they are seeking to dilute the culture. They are seeking to replace Irish people in the long run. Because I think it was stated multiple times that that native Irish people will be a minority in our own country by 2050 at this current rate. Which, just think about that. Your own country, which is astonishing. Your own country, you're a minority in your own country. Which, now if you look at Britain, their most common name is Mohammed, which tells you enough about itself. And now they're talking about where the Israelis over there want to introduce Sharia law. If you were looking, that's it, with refugees, sure, you're here if you're here and you're a man, get back over to your country and fight in the war. That's what you're supposed to be doing. If you're a woman or child, fine, I have no problem. But, wait, where was I going with this? Oh yes, if you are emigrating from your country and trying to change the country that you go to be like your country, why are you coming to this country in the first place? If you're going to another nation, you have to assimilate. You have to try and become that culture. You don't change the culture. You become part of the culture. That's the way it works, not the other way around. Because then why are you changing the country to match where you came from? Because it will just become like you where you came from and you look to move again. I'm just sick of our government. They're consistently... It's authoritarian. It's Orwellian, and they refuse to listen to the Irish people to the point where so many of my generation are just leaving the country. The army is at a record time low, where we literally could not put our navy ships out to sea because we had one technician. One navy technician for the whole fleet. Which is a goddamn joke, because they had to actually put our naval ships out there without their weapons enabled. Which is basically just a glorified boat. Our country needs to change, and Irish people need to wake up, and we need to do something about it. We cannot keep going with the, it's not affecting me, it's not doing anything to me, saying that and no. We need to speak up. We need to act. Because if we don't, by the time we do, it will be too late. Because our government does not care for us. We know that, and yet we just continue to keep... So many people continue to keep voting the same way. It needs to change. All I can say is I hope it does before it is too late. So, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. And remember, the dark side is with you always.